Ladies and gentlemen, Hell in a Cell 2016. Let's piss some people off tonight. Before we begin the review, guys, my voice is shot, and I'm going to try and get through this the best that I can. Number one, I want to apologize for that. Number two, I know a lot of people are going to be watching this review, and if you guys have been watching me, you guys know that I just don't care when it comes to what I say. I have an unfiltered mouth. I'll say what I say. I believe what I say, and I watch the WWE week in and week out. I know from a fan's perspective that what they're doing now is some of the worst television that they've put on in years. And you cannot deny that. You guys know, if you've been watching me, where I stand on Hell in a Cell, the 3 cells in one night, the overabundance and the pandering of this history-making, monumental moment for Sasha and Charlotte. You guys know where I stand on this women's revolution and how the women do not belong in the environment of a Hell in a Cell. And I'm watching this, and I'm watching everything unfold, and it's tough for me to sit here and tell you. It's tough for me to sit here and tell you, man. After weeks and weeks and weeks of giving you guys valid opinions from my side of the fence, I was right. I was right. Everybody's going to be watching all these other people and listening to all these other people. Oh, it's a history-making moment. It's monumental. It's a first. You're going to have Stephanie McMahon come out on Monday Night Raw and proclaim this is an unbelievable movement. This is an unbelievable moment in women's wrestling. I don't give a shit. I don't care. And I'm tired of hearing it. I'm sick and tired of hearing it. Now, before I even get into what I think about this match tonight, I will say this, because I know there are people ready and waiting to rip my head off for this review. What Sasha and Charlotte did in that ring tonight as competitors, as WWE performers, as wrestlers, was amazing. I tip my cap to both women. Sasha and Charlotte worked their fucking ass off, and it's going to be damn near impossible for any woman to follow what they did tonight as far as work rate in that ring goes. They busted their fucking ass. They took risk. And I can appreciate that. What they did tonight was definitely something a step above what the women are used to doing on WWE television. Did it live up to being a main event? No, it did not. In fact, what Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins did inside Hell in a Cell, it makes you wonder how that wasn't the main event. If you're laying out these matches and you're seeing what's going to go into these matches before the show goes live and we see everything unfold on television, how can that match not be last? Especially if it's for the Universal Championship, which is supposed to be the number 1 title on Monday Night Raw. There's no way that match should have went on last. None. I don't give a fuck about history. I don't give a fuck about being first. I don't care. What we seen in that ring tonight did not equivalent a main event, especially with the way it ended. Not at all. But I will say that those two women, at the end of the day, they will be hurt, but they deserve every accolade that's coming to them as far as what they did in that ring as performers, as wrestlers on this night. I want to get that out of the way. I am proud to be following both women's careers. I am proud to say that I am a fan of both women, what they do in that ring. And I'm proud to say that I can't wait to see these women mature and blossom even more. That's my positivity about this match. Now it's time for people to become salty. And it's time for those who don't like hearing the truth to cry, bicker, and moan in my comment section. Did it deserve Hell in a Cell? No, it did not. Did it deserve the main event? No, it did not. In fact, I've been proclaiming that women, in this type of environment, on any other given night, I would sit here and stare you straight in the face that women deserve to be treated better on WWE programming, and that still is the case. That still is the case. I feel like the women have taken steps backwards in the women's division, especially when showcased on Monday Night Raw. Women need to be on an equal level with the men, yes. But women are not on an equal level with the men when it comes to this type of environment. I don't care. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you agree with me or if you disagree with me. Inside that structure, inside that element, women are not supposed to be inside that cage. They are not, and they will never be on the same level as what the men can do in that cage. And you've seen certain situations of that in this match. There was fear. There was treading very lightly. There was a lot of cautious moments, you know? And if that was anybody else, if that was two male performers in the ring, and people who have been in this match, the Takers, the Foleys, the Lesnars, you know, the Wyatts, the Reigns, the Owens, the Rollins, the Ambrose, you know, there would be none of that. There would be none of that worry. The risks would be taken, and there would be, you know, an all-out war in that ring. The women did not want to, or at least try to. What I'm trying to say is everything in that ring, as far as what that Hell in a Cell match is supposed to be, the women, it's not for them. It's not meant for them. And what they did tonight, yeah, it was a great match. They busted their fucking ass. But as far as what that environment is supposed to bring us, what that gimmick is supposed to be, the women are not supposed to be a part of that. I'm sorry. This match proved to me and to a lot of people that it did not need that Hell in a Cell. It did not need that Hell in a Cell. In fact, this match was nothing more than an Extreme Rules match or a no disqualification match with a steel cage surrounding both competitors for the sake of it being there to enhance the look of the match. Everything that they did was generic as far as the cell goes. Diving through the ropes onto your opponent, pushing your opponent into the cell, the battering ram into the steel cage. You know, the women even went outside the cage. And we've seen that done several different times with several different performers. They did nothing in this cage. They did nothing as far as the structure goes, as breaking new ground. They didn't do anything different. It was all recycled, rehashed, Hell in a Cell generic garbage. So what was the purpose of it being inside Hell in a Cell? These women were better off just under the moniker of a no disqualification match or a Extreme Rules match. What they did in that ring did nothing as far as enhancing the feud or the match with the structure. That's all it was. That's all it was. And on top of that, WWE lifted the entire beginning sequence of Mick Foley versus The Undertaker at the 1998 King of the Ring in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and tried to build sympathy with Sasha and Charlotte by placing her on a stretcher and having her push away the officials and push away the EMTs and take the neck brace off and get back in the ring against referees' orders and start the match officially. I mean, was WWE thinking they were going to get one over on everybody else that still watches this match to this very day? I don't get it. Why would you completely copy and paste 100% what Mick Foley and The Undertaker did in 1998 and apply it to Sasha and Charlotte? I don't get it. That reeks of uncreativity. That reeks of WWE being as lazy as I've ever seen them be. And it did nothing but make me cringe. That's the first thing that I seen. That's the first thing that I thought of. And I'm not alone on that. The match didn't need that at all. The match wasn't officially started. The fucking cage wasn't even down on the ground yet. And the women were outside the cage to begin the match. They started to climb up the cage, and there was supposed to be a big table spot. I believe there was supposed to be a big table spot because both women were hanging on the side of the cage. But then Sasha climbed down, and it ended up being just a generic standard power bomb in which Charlotte forced Sasha through the announce table and she bounced off the announce table because 95 pounds of Sasha Banks isn't going to break an announce table. She forced her through the table, and I thought she was dead. And then because of that table spot, WWE felt like they needed a stretcher, and they needed to build intrigue. Wasn't there another way to go about that? Wasn't there another way to go about building sympathy for Sasha Banks? Did you really need to copy and paste what The Undertaker and Mick Foley did? I mean, I don't know if that's paying respect or paying homage, but to me, that's disrespectful. And that shows WWE Creative can't think of anything new, can't think of anything refreshing, can't think of anything that's going to differentiate this match from everything else that I've seen inside Hell in a Cell. Let me copy and paste The Undertaker and Mick Foley and apply it to Sasha and Charlotte inside Hell in a Cell. Do you know how ridiculous that sounds? I mean, give me a break. And I guarantee you there's half of the fucking audience in today's modern WWE who have never seen that match. And they're watching this tonight and they're thinking it's new and it's different. Meanwhile, it's all been done before. And then they'll go back and watch. And then these are the fucking stupid people that'll reach out to me on Twitter. Oh, Sasha and Charlotte copied Mick Foley and The Undertaker. These are the people that should not be watching the fucking product. What was historic about it? What was monumental about it? Nothing. This entire match was a whole copy and paste segment of Undertaker and Mick Foley, and nothing but an Extreme Rules match with a cage to enhance the look and the feel of the match. Meanwhile, the cage played absolutely no part in this match. The only thing the cage was used for was to enhance the copy and paste moment from the Undertaker Mick Foley match that they applied to this match. That was it. Everything else that they did with the cage was just generic garbage. At least Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens gave me something different. And I'll talk about that in a second. They actually made use of the cage. They offered something different like we've never seen before. The way Jericho got into the cage. The table spot with Kevin Owens going through the table. At least that was main event worthy. What Sasha and Charlotte did tonight was not main event worthy. And WWE is going to continue to brainwash you and make you think that it was main event worthy. Meanwhile, it was not. The women are fucking great. And I've been here expressing my interest and I've been speaking up about how women should be a more vital part to Monday Night Raw. Where is the Nia Jaxes? Where's the Alicia Foxes? Where the fuck is Summer Rae? Why are you changing Emma's gimmick from Evil Emma to this fucking Hollywood, model like Emma? Why? If there's one person that's for the women's division and for its succeeding, it is me. But I know when things should be done and when things should not be done. Women are and should be on an equal playing level with the men. Yes. They should have equal TV time. Yes. They should be given storylines that matter and that pique people's interests. Yes. But the women will never be and should never be on the same level as men inside Hell in a Cell. In that type of environment, they will never be equal to what the men can do. So realistically, what did WWE do here? They wasted everybody's time and they gave you a false hope of what this match should have been. And when we seen the final product, it ended up disappointing a lot of fucking people. It disappointed a lot of fucking people. And if you don't understand that, if you don't like where I'm coming from, if you don't like my opinion, then don't watch. But I know what I watched. It was nothing but uncreative WWE drivel with an Extreme Rules element with a pretty 25-foot steel cage surrounding both competitors that was barely used at all. Remain salty. That's what I seen. But all of that, it doesn't take away from how hard the women worked. They worked their ass off. They busted their fucking ass. But was it main event worthy? No. The ending, I don't know what WWE is doing with the ending at all. Sasha Banks was just given the title a couple of weeks ago. And tonight, she loses it again. I don't understand why Sasha Banks hasn't been able to have a run with the title. I don't know what's going on. I would not be surprised, and don't quote me on this, I would not be surprised if they took the title off of her because she's legit hurt again. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why they would take the title off of her after just a few weeks of winning it and making such a big deal about them main eventing Monday Night Raw. Why? Now, I understand what they're doing with Charlotte, and they want to keep this streak intact, and they want to build off something here with Charlotte. She's undefeated at every pay-per-view she's been at. She's undefeated at every pay-per-view she's been a part of. And WWE might be thinking that's something that they want to roll with now. And they're trying to build up maybe another woman in the division to take down Charlotte. And when they get this thing big enough, bigger than the fucking championship that she's holding, it's going to be a great moment for whoever defeats Charlotte when that moment comes. She's not going to be undefeated at every pay-per-view forever. So maybe WWE's thinking along those lines, but I just don't get why you took the title off Charlotte in the first place if this was only going to be the end result. Why did you take the title off of her? Why are you hot potatoing the title on Monday Night Raw and giving it right back to Charlotte at the pay-per-view? Why are you having Sasha lose in her hometown? These are the things that I don't get. The title should have never been taken off Charlotte to begin with. Why? Things like this frustrate me. And I question WWE's logic on this. And I say this all the time. WWE seems like they're unprepared in everything that they do. They plan out nothing. Everything is hot-shotted. Everything is spur-of-the-moment booking. They had no plan about any of this. And they do things based on where they are, the type of reaction they get from the fans, the type of show that they're building around, the type of moment they want to create. They hotshot things instead of having long-term plans. This is not the product of long-term planning. Sasha should have never won the title. Never. If they were going to come up with the concept of, you know what, we're going to run with this Charlotte undefeated pay-per-view streak, they should have never taken the belt off of her. Now she's a 3-time women's champion. A 3-time women's champion in a year and a half. Are they going for Charlotte to break her father's record in the women's division? Is she going to be a 16-time women's champion? I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're going or how they're planning this. But my long-term thing was for Sasha to win this thing, win the title in Boston originally, and hold the title to WrestleMania. And then give me Sasha versus Bayley in Orlando and have Bayley be the new flag bearer for the division by defeating a heel Sasha at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. That was my idea. And I don't know where WWE's going with this at all. I don't get where they're going with this whatsoever. It is the product of not knowing what to do creatively. And I know you guys watching me can agree with everything I just said there. I don't get it. The match ended abruptly. Sasha was thrown on a table that was propped up in the corner that she propped up herself. And then all of a sudden, the match ended. 1, 2, 3. Natural selection, 1, 2, 3. We got a new champion. You know, WWE made it very anticlimactic at the end. All you seen was Sasha laying, fucking beaten and broken and her body fucking frail after being in a fucking 25-minute hell in a cell match. And Charlotte was holding up the title, smiling to the crowd. Look at me. I'm a 3-time champion. At least give me something different. I even proposed the idea of Nia Jax coming in the match after Sasha won, which should have been the fucking case. Tonight, Sasha should have won the title back. Sasha should be a 2-time champion tonight. And if you want to make this a real revolution and add other women instead of making this a Sasha and Charlotte revolution and disregarding every other fucking female on the roster, Nia Jax should have been a huge presence in this match. And I've called it for fucking weeks. Take the Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, the very first Hell in a Cell. One of the greatest debuts, if not the greatest debut in WWE history, the introduction of Kane. He ripped the fucking door off and he tombstoned his own brother, giving Shawn Michaels the victory. That's what Nia Jax should have did. Nia Jax should have feasted on an already broken Sasha Banks who just won the title by ripping the door off, proclaiming that she is the beast, the monster to go through in this division. They didn't do that. If WWE really wanted shock value, if you really wanted to create a historic moment, if you really wanted to pretty much thrust this revolution forward instead of backward, Nia Jax should be a part of this revolution by that very situation that I just explained to you. I don't get it. WWE did nothing to make any of this historic. In fact, everything that they talked about was not. Everything that they talked about was just blah, 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 blah. And it's nothing but the Sasha and Charlotte show with no other women involved. That's just the way I see it. Very anticlimactic and not historic and monumental like everybody expected it to be. Now, the real main event should have been Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens. They had an absolutely amazing match. Probably the best match of the night, if you ask me. And I knew there was going to be some type of interference, whether that would be with Triple H. You know, Triple H was a huge long shot. He hasn't been on television. Why the fuck should he be? You know, at this point, that whole why did Triple H give the title to Kevin Owens deal, that's long gone. I don't expect we are going to get any answers to what happened on that night on Monday Night Raw when Kevin Owens was awarded the Universal Championship. We're not going to get the answers. The feud's coming, but I don't think we're going to get any answers. But what those two guys did, it started off very slow, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm waiting for this to pick up. And then all of a sudden, with a string of moves back and forth between Owens and Seth Rollins, that match picked up. And then the way that Jericho infiltrated the cage, you know, it was simple, and I'm sure it's been done before, but it was fucking great. It was great, man, and it was the simplest of things. You know, Kevin Owens went for a fire extinguisher, and he accidentally, not knowing how to use it, sprayed the referee in the face. The other referee who was on the outside watching the door unlocked the cage, came in to attend to the other referee. Jericho seen this as an opportunity to sneak into the cage. He came down, locked himself in, and pretty much from there it became a 2-on-1 situation. Now, what they're doing here is they're building towards the Survivor Series. They're building sympathy for Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was on the receiving end of both Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho tonight. He lost in a 2-on-1 situation. Obviously, this is going to further build his conflict with Stephanie McMahon. Obviously, this is going to build his conflict leading to a Triple H feud. And this also is going to build between conflict of Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho, because I see this imploding at the Survivor Series. They are leading this and taking this storyline and at least are progressing this to the Survivor Series. So I see this imploding in Toronto. But what these guys did, they worked their fucking ass off. There was a table spot where Seth Rollins deadlift Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is 280 fucking pounds, man. Probably even more than that. This guy, Seth Rollins, went for a fucking power bomb, and he dropped Owens. Just picture a power bomb, and he dropped him because he couldn't hold the weight. And he had Owens pretty much in a Styles Clash position, as if he was going for the Styles Clash. He deadlift Owens on his shoulders and threw him over the top rope through two tables that were propelled, one slanted against the cage and one underneath. And Kevin Owens and his neck, I was afraid for his neck. He went right through the fucking table. Best spot of the night. I'm glad to see at least one broken table. And it was just a great moment, man. And the intrigue built. You know, there was a lot of near falls. We seen Jericho interfere, but we knew, being that he was locked in that cage, we were either waiting for Jericho to fuck over Owens and ruin his title reign and cost him the title, or it was just going to be a 2-on-1 situation and WWE building sympathy for Seth Rollins, continuing on into the Survivor Series. And that's exactly what they did. It was a great match of the night, and that should have really been the main event. What those two guys did in there, I mean, at least they paid homage and respect to what the Hell in a Cell is. That should have been the main event. And the fact that it's for your number one prize, I don't care about the women. I don't care about the women's championship. I mean, a lot of times WWE goes into these things and the world championships and the universal championship is thrown to the wayside and made not to seem all that important. It's about time WWE starts treating their number one championships and their number one guy as the number one championship and the number one guy. If you're a champion, if you're the main champion, if you're the number one guy on the show, I don't give a fuck what is going on. You need to close the show. That championship needs to be the last thing on the show. Seriously. That's just the old school way of me thinking. But what they did tonight was main event worthy. What they did tonight paid homage to Hell in a Cell. And if there's one match you guys need to go out and watch, it's that one. Honestly, it is that one. They did a great job, and that was the match of the night. Kevin Owens retains the Universal Championship, and he defeats Seth Rollins tonight. The other Hell in a Cell match was Roman Reigns versus Rusev. Now, going into this, I didn't care about this whatsoever. I honestly did not care about this match at all. I didn't care about the feud. I actually said I wouldn't be surprised if WWE closed the show with this match because Roman Reigns is in it. You know, he's still their man. And WWE's like, all right, you know, we're not going to get Roman Reigns over with the crowd. We'll get the championship over by putting it on the number one guy. So that's my mentality. That's what I thought about this. And this was very cringe, man. A lot of cringe-worthy John Cena-esque moments here, especially with the ending. You know, this needs to be the end of this feud, and I'm very concerned about where Rusev stands in WWE right now. This feud did absolutely nothing to enhance Rusev. It did nothing to advance Rusev whatsoever. In fact, where does Rusev go from here? Where does Rusev go from here? Is he going to be on Monday Night Raw's team against SmackDown? Is he going to be on that? Is he going to be one of those big five to go against SmackDown's big five? You know, maybe. But again, where does he go from here? Obviously, he's done with the U.S. title. That title belongs to Roman Reigns. That title ain't going anywhere near anybody else. Roman Reigns is the U.S. champion, and he's going to be the United States champion. I like him in that role, but I don't like WWE pretending Roman Reigns is Superman 2.0 at all. The ending of this match scene, Rusev grab a fucking chain, a steel chain, you know, the ones that are used to lock the fucking cage during this match. And Roman Reigns was positioned on the steel steps. There were steel steps in the ring. And Rusev had the accolade on Roman Reigns. Not just any accolade, but he was choking him with the steel chain. The steel chain was draped across his fucking mouth, in his mouth. How does a man not tap out to something like that? That visual was a great visual. Any human being, any other wrestler on that roster would have tapped out to that move in that situation, on top of those steel steps with the steel chain in your mouth. How does WWE book this match? Oh, well, you know, it doesn't matter what's in Roman Reigns' mouth. All that belongs in his mouth is Vince McMahon's cock, because that's exactly what happened here. This guy powers out. He powers out of the accolade, which, number one, diminishes the move. Number two, is not believable whatsoever. If you have a man like Rusev on your back, choking you with a steel chain, how do you power out and get out of the hold? Only to fucking have Rusev eat a spear. He eats a spear. He powers out of it. A Samoan drop on the steel steps. And then Rusev stands up on the steel steps as Roman Reigns is standing in the corner as he escaped the hold. And he spears him off the steps for a 1-2-3. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I had glimpses of Umaga and John Cena at the Royal Rumble many years ago, when the ropes broke and John Cena did the fucking STF with the ring ropes, choking Umaga out in a last man standing match or whatever the fuck match that they had. It reminded me of that. I don't understand how you book and script a match to end that way after Roman Reigns has everything going against him. All it takes is one spear and he wins? I mean, the guy was being choked out with fucking a steel chain. The chain was in his mouth. Choked. I don't get it. I don't get it. And WWE, I guess they don't pay attention to detail here with this match. There was an instance in this match where Rusev took a kendo stick and he started beating Roman Reigns in the chest with the kendo stick. Roman Reigns was tied up in the ropes. He took a kendo stick. He was, you know, like fucking Mark McGuire, just hitting Rusev. Rusev was hitting Roman Reigns with the kendo stick. He has a protective vest on. Attention to detail, WWE. If you really wanted Rusev to be barbaric in a barbaric-like atmosphere and environment, you should have had him rip off the fucking vest so that the kendo stick really goes to work. I mean, why don't you see that? It's the first thing I noticed. This guy's fucking pretending, yeah, I'm hitting him with a kendo stick. Probably not even feeling anything. The guy's got a fucking vest on. Take the vest off. Show me what type of barbaric environment Hell in a Cell could really be. Show me how bad you want the U.S. title. No, Roman Reigns is just tied up in the ropes with a fucking vest on, and he's getting beat with a kendo stick, with nothing happening to him. Seriously. Attention to detail, WWE. How do you let something like that slip through the cracks? And Roman Reigns ended up winning anyway, so what the fuck good was it? 25 minutes of Roman Reigns, blah, 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 blah. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. We had 3 Hell in a Cell matches. And again, everybody that worked inside these cage matches tonight, they busted their ass. I don't have to like them. I don't have to like the way the matches were laid out. In fact, the only one that I actually genuinely enjoyed was Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. And that feud was terrible. The storyline for this was fucking terrible. The list was made to look more important than the Universal Championship. But when those guys got in Hell in a Cell, the caliber of athlete, the caliber of wrestler that Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins are, they made it work. Everything that we've seen for weeks leading up to this match, I forgot about because they put on a great match. Roman Reigns wins. Where does Rusev go from here? That's all I'm worried about. Thank God this feud is over. It is over. And thank God the Charlotte feud with Sasha is over. Thank God Hell in a Cell is over. And you know the one thing with all 3 of these cell matches? There was no blood in any of these matches. You're in a barbaric-like atmosphere of Hell in a Cell, and not one individual out of 6 bleeds. Again, attention to detail. If you're not going to respect what this match is and what this match is historically, then don't do it anymore. And if you are going to do it, have it actually mean something for a feud that has been culminating for fucking months. You know, the way NXT is booking Nakamura and Samoa Joe, the way these guys are going, or even Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. Just take that feud and take what Joe is doing with Nakamura now. The structure of both of those feuds. If you wanted to put either one of those feuds and have it fucking end, it would end inside Hell in a Cell. That's the time you book a Hell in a Cell, when a feud has reached that type of fucking boiling point. Look at what Samoa Joe and Nakamura are doing on NXT television. Look at the intensity. Look at the fucking brutality of Samoa Joe. Look at the hunger in Nakamura's eyes and his face and just him wanting to get revenge. You put both of those guys in Hell in a Cell, it will mean something. The same thing Joe did with Balor. You put both of those guys, and they did go in a steel cage, but it wasn't Hell in a Cell. You want to put them in Hell in a Cell, it would mean something. Everything, as far as these 3 matches go, they were put inside Hell in a Cell, and none of them meant anything. You can have a great fucking match, but what does it mean in the end? What have we seen on television? Nothing. And what is the culmination of all this? It's just, okay, Kevin Owens won. Or, okay, Charlotte won. Or, okay, Roman Reigns won. It means nothing. Everything that got them to this point meant nothing. You take a feud like Nakamura and Joe and you put it inside Hell in a Cell, what you've seen on television so far from what these guys did, it means something. That's the difference. That's the difference. Just take that visualization and apply that to what we've seen tonight. It would be a world of a difference. World of a difference. Anyway, moving on with the rest of this review, because I got to get to bed, number 1, I got work. Number 2, my fucking throat and my voice is shot. Bayley versus Dana Brooke. Why this match was even on pay-per-view. Don't understand it. Dana Brooke is fucking awful. I've made an executive decision. She will be on the next shirt. She will be on the next Get Off My TV shirt. She is fucking terrible. Bayley to belly. 6 minutes and 27 seconds. Enzo and Big Cass versus Anderson and Gallows. Holy shit. Enzo and Big Cass lose. Carl Anderson actually got a pinfall victory here. Yes! I was shocked too. And you know what? They delivered a magic killer. Unbelievable. But what does it mean? Nothing. These guys are fucking deader than one of the corpses on Walking Dead. They are absolutely fucking dead. They beat the most popular tag team in all of wrestling right now. And what does it mean? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Michael Cole's bragging, oh, they're the New Japan Pro Wrestling this and that, multiple championships, decorated tag. Who gives a shit? You're in WWE now. What have you done with these guys? Nothing. They got fed to Roman Reigns. They fucking got destroyed by the New Day. Comedic segments that were fucking bombed. Pathetic, awful. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to care about these guys. It took the WWE 6 months to kill the club. 6 months to kill Anderson and Gallows. And they're dead. Their win means absolutely nothing. And there's rumors going around that I reported on Off the Script that Enzo and Cass, WWE is holding back on pushing them. They're so popular that a loss here and a loss there and a loss to everybody else on the fucking roster is not going to do them any good. They're going to get the same ovation, the same reaction every time they come out. But you can't have them job every single fucking week. They lost to the Shining Stars. They lost to the club. What are you doing with Enzo and Cass and these teams? You know, you're putting them in a position to put other teams over, but are you really getting the other teams over? No. The damage has been done to those teams. You can't get those teams over anymore. So what are you accomplishing here? Nothing. And what other tag teams do you have on Raw? The whole tag team division on Raw is fucking terrible. Absolutely non-existent. But Anderson gets a fucking pin. I'm shocked. Magic Killer, 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins. This match went 10 minutes, and the way they were building this up was Brian Kendrick was constantly saying, listen, TJ, you got to let me win this match. This could be my last opportunity. This is my last shot, you know? And TJ Perkins was like, no, this is not the Brian Kendrick I know. I want the Brian Kendrick I know to go in there and win this fucking match the way I know he could win it, against a competitive, challenger. Let's do this thing. Win it because you are that damn good. So what happened here? Number one, the crowd shit all over this match. Brian Kendrick played possum at the end, and it led to a headbutt into a captain's hook, and it led to a new champion being crowned. Brian Kendrick is the new Cruiserweight champion. He beats TJ Perkins at 10 minutes and 33 seconds to be crowned the new Cruiserweight champion, but does it mean anything? No. It means absolutely nothing. You have given these guys absolutely nothing to work with. Nothing. You have abandoned what you made with the Cruiserweight Classic. You abandoned everything that made the Cruiserweight Classic special. And it took WWE 2 months to fucking kill a division that was supposed to bring something different to the overly stale Monday Night Raw. As soon as those cruiserweights got to Monday Night Raw, they fell into that fucking trap, and they're just as bad as anything else on that show. Why? Because they are associated with Monday Night Raw. If these guys were on Smackdown, it would be a completely different story. A completely different story. The fact that these guys are on Monday Night Raw, nobody gives a shit. They fell into the trap. Monday Night Raw is fucking garbage, and by default, everything around it is going to be fucking garbage. That's exactly what they did with the Cruiserweights. 2 months, and they killed every fucking last drop of momentum that these guys had coming out of the Cruiserweight Classic. Brian Kendrick wins, but does anybody care? No. TJ Perkins dethroned as Cruiserweight champion. New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus for the tag team championships. These guys got the shit spot of the pay-per-view because the crowd was dead for most of this match, if not all of this match. It's tough following Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins inside Hell in a Cell. It's tough following 2 cell matches to begin with. It's tough going on before the match everybody paid money to go see with Charlotte and Sasha. So these guys got the death spot tonight. Nobody gave a fuck about this match. The New Day's great. The New Day has been great. The New Day have done wonders for the tag team division. They are a gimmick and a trio that people thought were going to be fucking dead on arrival. They changed it into one of the more entertaining acts on WWE television. But with a lot of things in life, when something needs to come to an end. And the reign of the New Day needs to come to an end. I didn't think they were going to lose this match, or at least the titles anyway, because WWE is going to have them break Demolition's record. And there's rumors going around that WWE may hold the titles on the New Day till WrestleMania, where Enzo and Cass will have their WrestleMania moment. That's what they're waiting for. I don't trust WWE to get to that point. I don't trust WWE to book months of television with 3 different fucking tag teams. It's going to be the same old shit every single week. But Cesaro and Sheamus, news about them. Cesaro's contract is up. Who knows if he's resigning? Who knows if he hasn't resigned? I don't know. So going into this, they were already deemed the underdogs. They were not going to win this match just based on that fact alone. Nobody knows what's going on with Cesaro. He's already expressed frustration with his position in WWE. Sheamus, he's directionless. Yeah, they make a great team. They got similar styles, and I think they gel well together. I think this is a great opportunity for both of them. But what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything, because the New Day aren't going anywhere as tag team champions. And the fact that WWE is going to break Demolition's record, they had to find some way to keep the titles on them without having them lose. And they did lose tonight, but it was by disqualification. Kofi Kingston got them disqualified when Sheamus took Francesca 2 and started beating everybody at ringside with it. He hit Big E in the back with it. He was attacking Kofi. Kofi got up and did a Trouble in Paradise. Referee seen that, and the referee waved the entire match off. He disqualified the New Day. Sheamus and Cesaro win this match by disqualification. And I don't know what's going on, man. Maybe the New Day are turning heel. Maybe WWE's dropping hints that New Day is going to turn heel. I don't know what's going on with this, but it really didn't do any of these guys any favors. And like I said, the crowd was dead for most of it. And I don't know what's going on with Cesaro and Sheamus. I don't know where they go from here. But at this point, I just don't care. I don't care about the tag team division. The lack of tag teams on Monday Night Raw don't make it exciting. They're not doing anything with the belts. They're not doing anything with the division. It's the same old shit. They have a lot of teams that are talented, but a lot of teams that people just don't fucking care about. And it's time for the New Day to lose these titles. We need someone else to get that momentum. We need some fucking freshness to the tag team division. WWE's not going to do that with the New Day until they break the record of Demolition's 478 days or whatever it is. But that's pretty much it, man. That's your pay-per-view. That's your review. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you're thinking. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I don't know, man. Hell in a Cell. It was a 3-hour and 15-minute Monday Night Raw on a Sunday night with fucking cages. And was it historic? Did it live up to the fucking hype? No, of course not. Everything that I stated during the week, everything was right on the money. But the fuck do I know, man? That's your Hell in a Cell review. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up. And I will see you all, hopefully, sounding a little bit better for Monday Night Raw review. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow night.